I come out in the pasture and I like to have the halter with me, and it teaches them again haltering is not a big deal. Move those hindquarters for me, thanks. So you can see our wetness here that we have. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was I ran into a guy that really seemed to have it going on with his horse understanding and his horse training. He follows some of the best out there. He said Ray Hunt, he's rooting with him, Buck Brannaman, you know, the Dorrance brothers and all of those guys. And so I thought he'd be kind of cool for me to talk to, and sort of, I've got some things with my horses that I wanted to maybe work out. Well, one of the things that sort of was interesting to me was, here, let's eat it. No, don't eat that. No. One of the things that was really interesting to me was what he said about, you know, I asked him about why he follows those folks, and you know, what is his thoughts on horses and horse behavior and horse training. And he said, you know, it works for them. It's worked for them for years. I'm not going to deviate. He said there's a lot of trainers out there. They have taken like the Tom Dorrance and the Ray Hunts stuff, and then they've kind of made it their own, and I'm not going to do that, he said. But I kind of thought to myself, it's like interesting, you know, it's great to follow, you know, folks that you really admire. We all have coaches in our life that, you know, help us become better. Sparks, can you maybe get away from the camera so they can see? Come here. But I wonder if, you know, also as we progress as horse people, if we maybe learn and add our knowledge to what those great mentors of ours have known, you know, all of those years. And so, you know, I guess for me, not being so closed-minded that I only follow one way and that I'm not open to other ways of doing things, and you know, that I kind of look at a lot of different ways and see what makes sense. As long as it all follows, you know, how a horse thinks, what makes sense to a horse. Let's go over to this nicer horse over here. You know, again, it follows science, and it makes sense to a horse, the nature of a horse, and really what's in the best interest of the horse. Then I'm kind of interested in it, but you know, I guess I don't follow blindly something someone says because of who they are. Of course, if it's working for them, they always say, until you reach that level of success for yourself, don't change things, because it's obviously working for that person that's successful. And I get that. I get that a lot. But I'm wondering if you can learn from more than a couple different people, you know? And also, do we learn as we go along? So see there, I kind of just was haltering for fun. But another horse just came up and probably just blocked the whole thing. Let's see. Hi, Mar. Hi, Mar. Or do we become so dogmatic that we follow just one type of horsemanship in one program and buy one box set, and that's that? You know, I just wonder. Marley, can you get out of the way? Thank you. Go back. I just wonder what the right answer is, and if in our journey with horses we find it ourselves, if we're open to learning. I kind of look at it like, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, they thought smoking was a good thing for you. So, you know, people smoked and there wasn't really any question about it. But as we learned that smoking is not good for you. That's just an example, but there's a lot of things with horses that because of tradition, we felt were good for the horse, but really aren't good for the horse. But because of tradition, you know, that's the things that we've done with horses. And there really isn't any scientific fact behind it. Don't eat that, please. But it's been, like I said, it's been sort of a tradition, and there's been good traditions and there's been bad traditions out there. And so I'm just wondering if, again, as we learn and grow, and we we become better with our horses if we can take some of the good stuff that's been out there and add to it instead of having blinders on. So I wanted to get you guys' opinion, what you thought of that. Do you think that you should find a way that works with horses, agrees with your philosophies, and stick with it, which definitely is a good thing? And or do you think that maybe you can do what I just said, but always be open to hearing from other teachers? And I really think also, you know, depending on where you're at in your life, different things make sense to you. I really think that. There's some times where I'll hear something and I just can't hear it, if that makes sense. You hear it, but you really don't hear it. And so that's my question today. It's like there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of different, especially natural quote-unquote horsemanship trainers out there, and there's people that only follow their programs, go through their levels, go through whatever they called, and aren't really open to any other way. And then unfortunately there's the traditional folks that can't see the light of day, can't see new information, and that's definitely bad. I guess I'd rather have someone strictly following Buck and Tom and Ray, good, keep going around, than doing some of these traditional things that just don't make sense with horses. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I just thought it was really interesting that this guy, you know, he said he's not going to deviate at all. And I guess, you know, it's kind of like a recipe, I guess, when you're cooking.